there's a big fear out there that AI is just going to take everyone's job and no one's going to have anything to do.
Yeah, in fact, the book is exactly about that fear. Okay, and I love science fiction, and there is a famous writer in science fiction who's my favorite, Frank Herbert, and he used to say in his books, "Fear is the mind killer." Right? And
Yeah, yeah.
I love that quote. So there is nothing to fear about AI, but there is something to fear how we are going to use AI itself. It's a tool.
Welcome to Embracing Digital Transformation, where we investigate effective change leveraging people, process, and technology.
This is Darren Pulsford, Chief Solution Architect, author, and most importantly, your host. On today's episode, The Singularity of Hope, a new perspective on AI, with special guest Sam Sammane, visionary, author, and CEO of Theosym. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we talked the other day. I was really impressed, first off, with your followers. I said, oh my goodness, Sam, how in the world have you pulled this off? But we'll talk about that another time. But today we're going to talk about your book and about generative AI in general and AI. But before we get started, Sam, every single one of my guests is a superhero and has a backstory. So, Sam, what is your backstory?
Okay, so I was born in Syria. My parents did me a good favor and they immigrated out of Syria very early. I was 1 year old.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's very early. And my father traveled a lot. So I had the privilege to live in a lot of countries, including Saudi Arabia, Germany, France, before finally become a Canadian citizen and lived most of my life in Canada, Montreal. I did all my education in France. That was a privilege as well. So my early education was in applied physics. I did bachelor and master in applied physics. Then I did a second master in what we call today computer engineering. At that time, we used to call it hardware circuit design, microelectronics. It was a complicated name in France. I think they call it today computer engineering, hopefully. Then I did a PhD in nanotechnology, but my topic was automatic theorem proving and symbolic simulation. So it's practically another way of doing automatic reasoning or artificial intelligence. Then I taught in Montreal, Canada for around 3 years as computer engineering, especially microprocessor architecture and formal verification. Finally, to go into business. How I went into business, long story. I don't think today is the right time, but I found myself in the business of building service companies and laboratories for testing, which is not related at all to my original background. But it went well. Business was good. And for 15 years, I have created companies in that domains, either a software company to serve labs or labs themselves, and I sold them. Like I did that 3 times so far, and then recreate other things related to the lab business or software business. So right now I have Theosym, which is an AI startup. I have still interest in labs. I'm working still in the lab domains. And finally, I have a small orientation toward also doing public relation services and digital marketing
So
services.
you're a jack of all trades here. I mean, you're in everything. And when you said labs, you're talking about chemical labs?
Yes, there are labs
Okay.
that do testing, microbiology, chemistry, and that was a business. So I was not like a technical guy there. I was really the person who developed the business and then sell it at certain time. And 2 years ago, I start going back to my research passion and my earlier education. I wrote a book about AI called The Singularity of Hope.
Okay, yeah.
So,
So before we drop into that, you're a practitioner. You did the theoretical, right? Because
mhm.
you were a professor. You've got 2 masters and a PhD. And then you moved into business.
Yes.
And so very practical. My career has gone the opposite way. I've been very practical and just finished my PhD and
Mm.
want to move into teaching. So Sam, we're like two ships passing in the night. So very interesting backgrounds. So let's talk about your book. Why write? Why not write a book on AI? Everyone's writing a book on AI.
Mhm.
So who cares? Why? What's
A
so
good
important
good
about your book?
question. I love this question, and I will tell you the real reason why I wrote the book. It was not business. It was the fact that I have three pretty girls. I care about the future of our humanity, and I found people asking the wrong questions about AI, really the wrong questions, and people are not aware of the problems. Like I heard a lot of people worrying about, okay, AGI, it will take over the world. It will. No, I don't think this is the real problems. There are social problems, yes. There are like real danger, yes, but it's not about AI itself. It's about how we are going to use AI, how we are going to behave, what we are expecting all very nearby the singularity, because this is impact on our society and our kids. In fact, I didn't want my girls to grow up in a future when we will have robots or AI agent, whatever they want to call them, collect taxes. That's for me a nightmare. I want
Oh,
them to grow up in a new world when they don't need to work and robots are doing our jobs and we don't have taxes. Let the robot work and contribute to the society. That's the future I'm dreaming of. This is why I wrote the book. And somehow later on, I said, oh my God, I did a book maybe too much for my position in life. It's true, I'm a serial entrepreneur, but it's still in the domain of small business. I'm not as big as others. And at the same time, now people expected when they read my book to have business feedback, where it's really about humanity and the future for humanity with AI.
what's your biggest fear um, moving forward? It sounds like you kind of want AI to take over a lot of our jobs. That's how you see it going. But won't that produce
Uh,
more jobs? Or I mean, there's a big fear out there that AI is just going to take everyone's job and no one's going to have anything to do.
Yeah, in fact, the book is exactly about that fear. Okay, and I love science fiction, and there is a famous writer in science fiction who's my favorite, Frank Herbert, and he used to say in his books, "Fear is the mind killer." Right? And
Yeah, yeah.
I love that quote. So there is nothing to fear about AI, but there is something to fear how we are going to use AI itself. It's a tool. In fact, I always criticize people who said, okay, done by AI. I told them, no, no, it's not. It's done by a human using AI tools. Please cite that because this is the truth. There is no AI that will wake up in the morning and send a nasty email. It's like you are telling me this nasty email didn't sent by this person, it's sent by the computer, right? It's not. It's not. So
You're right.
we need
That would
we
be
need
like
to
blaming. That'd be like blaming the postman for delivering your bills. Right?
exactly. I agree
Yeah.
with
Am I
you.
mad at the am I mad at the postman or the
Yeah,
mail carrier?
or saying, "Oh my
No.
God, postmen are dangerous. They are going to transfer a lot of messages. What if one of them messages is a hate message, right?"
Yeah, well,
So, so
my dog thinks that the mail carrier is evil, right? Because she barks at him all the time, right?
So not assuming all male person are good, right? There's still always a small percentage who are not. But let's go back to the AI question.
Right, yeah.
I don't think the AI in the near future or even medium future will be able to become a human. And this is what I argue in my first chapter in the book. I tell, hey guys, let's be reasonable here. We have superiority as a human. And of course, we cannot compete with the machine in some things. I call that chapter the mind and the machine. And I will go drive directly in it. I think our capabilities of human is all related to our emotions. Like we learn with love, right? Kids, babies learn their first information by the love of their parents and the love of the parents, of course, very essential for learning of the babies, even later in life. If you like something, you learn it quickly. And we struggle really to learn something we don't like. This is how human work. It's not the machine. And we learn quickly. And that's proven now by people who are trying to do machine learning, because they will tell you, hey, how a human can learn very, very small subset of information. And
Yeah,
our superpower, yes, go ahead, please.
it is very interesting because I think someone just recently, I think at MIT, published how fast our brains work. And they work really
I
slow.
will go to that. They work slow,
They
but
work
there is
slow
more and
compared
more
to,
research now that
yeah,
prove that we have quantum computers somehow hidden in our biology.
in our brains. Yeah. So,
And that's not proven 100%, but there is more and more scientific evidence that this idea, that I will credit it to my, let's call it hero, Roger Penrose, and his participating person, Hemroff. So they said that 30 years ago. People consider them crazy. Recently, we have credible research that shows quantum activity in the
in our,
microtubules. That they said that 30 years, they had no proof. Now other people prove that this is possible. Now I'm not going to into that debate because my book is not about that.
no,
But it's an
no.
indication how we are much more complex than a computational algorithm.
I totally agree with you. At the same time, I leverage generative AI in lots of different things in my podcast. I think I told you this. My podcast, my newscast that I do is in 8 different languages. I can't speak 8 different languages. I can only speak 2. I speak Portuguese and I speak English and a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish. But on my podcast, I speak Arabic, Japanese, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, English. So there's no way I have the time to learn all those languages and still produce a podcast. So in some respects, the Gen AI augments what I can do and makes me so much more than what I am today.
I love
So
that, because you know what I called one of the major point of my book? I call it HAYA, human AI augmentation. And I said human AI augmentation, it's not AGI. It's how we took that primitive intelligence that we call generative AI, that at the same time, I agree with you, very useful, very powerful,
very useful, very powerful. Yeah.
very powerful, but it's not our intelligence. It's a very different kind of intelligence. And I will go directly to the idea, the singularity of hope. It's another type of singularity. When machine will not outsmart us, but the next generation of human will be so augmented by this generative AI that we will create that super intelligence that outsmart us today. And we will achieve that singularity where things are going so fast, innovation is every day, and it's a new prosperity and great future for our kids and grandchildren. This is the singularity of hope thesis.
I love that, but at the same time, this feels a lot like, and you remember the '90s, the .com boom and bust, and before the boom happened, there were lots of jobs out there that were just supporting jobs of other individuals. Example, typing pools, mail delivery inside these big corporations. There are no mail delivery, I mean, very few mail delivery services in big corporations. Typing pools are gone. So I think with generative AI, we're going to see another major transition where now an individual can produce so much more. And like you said, the innovation's just going to go through the roof. And I don't need a whole huge team of people, hundreds of people to do something. I can get away with a smaller team and produce more. So it's gonna impact jobs, period. It absolutely will.
It is in a big way. And this is why in my book I argue about this as the problem that has already a solution. Let me tell you, I don't believe that we have created AI that will replace a human. I think the problem is not AI become like a human, the problem, or robots. The problem, we human in the last 100 years, we are creating machine-like jobs and we are behaving like machine. So now that we have machine to do this
Oh,
job,
I love how you said that, Sam.
we need to go back being a human. What does that mean? What does it mean to be human in the age of AI? It's exactly the emotional intelligence or emotional capability that is mixed with our intelligence. Empathy, creativity, love, taking care of each other, and creativity here, I need to emphasize a lot of it because it is the solution. Listen, so far we have created jobs based on machine or repetitive or routine, whatever you want to call them. You mentioned delivery jobs. You mentioned also typesetting job
Yeah.
or administrative job. What if the machine can do that and we go back to creativity on all the fields of creativity? I'm not talking only business, art. Now we have machine that can create a script, but I saw the script. If there is no human touch, it's boring. It's bad. So we have an incredible chance to go back being human. I'm not saying that's easy because we used to behave like machine. We used to give people what we call standard operating procedure, which is
Yes,
practically
yes.
programming for the human. Let's call it what it is. We are
Oh,
both have background in computer engineering,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
SOPs are practically the programming language of business or human work.
Yeah.
And this is what, if you cannot do it as SOP, it is a human touch, in my opinion. And there is a lot. There is a lot.
That you know you're hitting something I've never heard anyone really talk about, and that is we have program and we start in the elementary schools with this, by the way.
School
We
needs to change. School
school
needs to
needs
change radical,
education needs to change completely for it to,
completely.
because we want people being more innovative. We want people pushing beyond coloring outside of the lines,
Hmm.
right? We want them to critically think about things because right now we're trying to fit everyone in a box. Why? So that they can go work in a job that
They can. We want to program people
that we
because
want to
we
program
didn't have
people.
robots. Now we have robots. And by the way, I don't. You said the problem in the late '90s, early 2000s, which was the problem
You know,
of, let's
yeah, it
call
was a
it,
huge problem.
hype, anticipation, and then it took time for the internet, let's call it, revolution to happen. I anticipate worse now with AI. We have a lot of hype, a lot of expectation, but we need some time to reach the expectations. And I don't know what will happen, but I see already the effect or the word towards singularity. Listen, today we have DeepSeek. DeepSeek took from Chinese
Yeah,
company
yeah, yeah, yeah.
less than $10 million to get out.
I
It
know.
took OpenAI maybe 1 billion something to get the same thing. But it doesn't mean that the Chinese are smarter. They used OpenAI technology to create their technology. So what's
So
coming
we're going
is
to be
much
building on
worse.
top of right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and I can take a Llama 3.2 model or a Mistral model or even an OpenAI model, which has now been open. I can create new things out of that. I
And
I
it
don't
will
even
get
need to retrain it. It's there's so much you can
right,
do.
right. Yes, it's
And
amazing, right?
very small amount of money, very small investment. I can do so much. So yeah, I
And
think
that's scary. That's scary somehow because our business model of technology so far, I invest
yeah,
massively, I create advancement, and then I'm good for years to get money out of it. But
but you're
if
not. You're only good maybe 3 months now.
maybe less, and the idea, a lot of jobs will disappear. A lot of jobs will disappear. And what's scaring me, and I wrote in the book about it, the solution needs radical change in our society. Radical. What does that mean? Education needs to change. We don't need to think of 12 years of education anymore. We don't need to give people knowledge based education. We need to give them creativity and critical thinking kind of education, but we don't have it. We don't, unfortunately.
No,
Like,
no, we don't. In fact, I just started teaching at Vanderbilt University. And the person that I replaced there, he moved on to become a dean at William and Mary, and I interviewed him on my show. That's Dr. Doug Schmidt. I interviewed him specifically about Gen AI because I teach computer science. Well, I know my students are using Gen AI. I use Gen AI to grade their papers, well, their programs because they're writing programs. And I talked to him specifically about how this is going to change. And he said, we've got to get away. And I totally agree in education, away from handing stuff in a paper or a program into more studio and create what the creative people have done. If you look at art or design or architecture, you hand in a portfolio and you do your work in front of your mentor. So now you have a mentor that teaches you and guides you along to think critically about things. It's not about the rote things that you do anymore. Now it's more about the critical thought, and it's more about, becoming a subject matter expert in something that you can critically talk about. And I thought, wow, you're saying the exact same thing. It's going to be a fundamental change. If higher education doesn't make this change, they're going to disappear.
I am for starting training our kids on AI before we start training them on writing with their hands. In fact, I don't write with my hands anymore. I type. I don't know
Yeah,
why
yeah.
my kids spent 3-4 years to master that old technology. Let's call it a technology. What's writing with pens? It's technology, right? And it's outdated. And I saw my girls, she is 2 years, I have twins 2 years old, and they are scrolling and interacting with the screen
And they
at two
can
years
very
old,
quickly,
and they
right?
cannot handle a pen yet. So technology is amazing for them.
But Sam, are we going to lose? Because we've seen this happen in the past. Are we going to lose some tacit knowledge that our society knows today if we start relying
We
on new
will.
technologies?
We will, but that's called progress. Let me tell you something. Do you know how to make a fire from scratch?
I
Maybe. I
actually
don't.
do.
Maybe, yes. So if I put you with 1,000 of people and you are the only one who does that, you cannot survive. You cannot. You need technology.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why the hypocrisy? Why we want to teach people old technology in the pretext, we lose knowledge. First of all, we are not going to lose knowledge. We have it somehow. And I think we are destined for a great future. We need to be hopeful about the future. If you are pessimistic, what? We are going to teach people today how to build a black and white TV because it's important for them? No, it's not.
No, I agree with you. I think society as a whole, especially establishments, want to keep people in a box. They want robots, right? Because that's predictable.
In fact, they want robots. And I have a theory about it, a theory about capitalism. Capitalism and innovation goes hand in hand. You need a lot of capital to do innovation, and innovation will help you rely less on the proletariat, the masses, and rely more on machine that you build with your capital. And I have bad news and good news. Bad news, capitalism has triumphed by excellence. They created a new kind of proletariat, digital proletariat. This proletariat or workers are 100% machine. They don't need raise or vacations, or they will not be a union of them. At the same time, this revolution, alternative revolution of digital proletariat, I tell people it seems like capitalism won, but not really. Because, hey, even we, the people or the regular proletariat, we can use them. We can use the digital worker in a very cheap way to create companies and destroy capitalism. So we are in a very funny moment of history.
Well, it's a different form of capitalism, right? Because you said capital and innovation go together.
Right.
What we're seeing is a change.
Exactly.
I can now innovate, but we've had this change before.
Not as speed as now. Listen,
every industrial revolution saw this. We're going through another industrial revolution right now, and we're at the beginning of it.
So, I will not call it industrial. I will call it cognitive revolution. That's new.
Okay, I like that.
That's new because now, listen, in the industrial revolution, we amplified our muscles somehow. What you used to do in an hour now, what you used to do in a month,
I can physically now do in an
hour, right? Now, in cognition itself, that means what you used to do in terms of thinking and performing takes you a month. You can do it in an hour with generative AI.
Yes,
you don't need the human. This is we never saw it, and the implication combined with industrial capability we have It's
It's
huge.
astronomical. Yeah, no, you're
And
right.
I love that. Let's love it,
No,
not
no,
be
I
against
I
it.
do too. So where do you see our what's the end game? And it's end game is a what's the next plateau? Because it will plateau. We know it will. Where do you see it plateauing? What's it look like for people? Do we have jobs anymore? Do we work in big companies anymore? Or
There is big changes coming, right? And I think what we need to do is upgrade, not cry on the past. Okay, crying on the past. Hey, what is this job? What is this job? What this guy will do? Okay, that's fine. You can cry about it, but let's be more positive.
yeah,
And I
that
will
doesn't
tell
do
you.
you any good. Yeah.
Let me tell you what's really I wish. And here I'm dreaming a little bit, but we
Okay.
need to upgrade our project. Imagine a machine that do reverse global warming, an AC for the planet. It's a big project. It's gigantic project. It's
Yeah.
somehow terraforma project. Let's do it. I don't believe reducing gas in the atmosphere will solve global warming. It maybe slow it a little bit, but it will not reverse it. But a big AC for the planet, and that's impossible in the past. But now we'll have a lot of people out of work. Let them work on the gigantic project. Another example of gigantic project. Let's reverse cancer once and for all.
Yes, yeah, that would be so I see where you're going with this. I really kind of it helps us focus on things that in the past we would have thought were impossible and would take too long. I, I'm sure the pharmaceutical companies that are looking for a cancer research, they may have already they may already have all the data they need to find it, but they
Maybe,
can't.
maybe not. But now we have
But
a
now
lot
we've
of
got
tools to
yeah
empower the
to
researcher.
help with that, right?
Yes.
Just like we saw with genomics, right?
Mm-mm.
When they first did genomics and to do uh, to genotype a person cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and took several weeks. Now I can swab my mouth, send it into 23andMe, and it cost me $35 or $39,
So
and
that this
pretty
is
incredible.
this is I think how we are going. We are going to upgrade our project, upgrade our companies. We don't
But
want
it's
a
going to
company.
accelerate so much faster, is what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
I think here's the real danger. We need leaders that up to the challenge. Okay, we need real leaders, and I see in this word a lot of hope because we have people like Elon Musk. Independently, if you agree with him politically, or I saw a lot of
No,
critic for the
I've seen what
person.
he's done. He has pushed. He revitalized the space industry by himself. He revitalized the automotive industry, which is sunk into this quagmire of we do the same thing over and over and over again. And he completely changed that one. So yes, I agree with him. He is a change agent. We need more people like that. That
But I have other examples too. I have in Arabic country we have MBS, the Royal Prince of Saudi Arabia. He has put
yes, you
this
are
vision
right.
2030 when he has imagined big project for Saudi Arabia. But by the way, they are a big project for humanity. It's a big example. I saw
Yes.
some people underestimate his intelligence, say, "Hey, yeah, he's just a dreamer." No, he's not. He figured it out maybe before a lot of leaders. That's now it's possible. Maybe
Yeah. In
40
fact,
years ago, it's not.
I actually helped work on one of his projects, the city of Neom. I did some work with the city of Neom. Fascinating, and yeah, he's a true visionary that's making things happen.
And we need more
Regardless,
and more
yeah,
of
we
these
need more
people.
of that, and regardless of everyone trying to stop him, right? Because the media tried to stop him. It just
This
people
is
are
life. In the
afraid of him.
beginning, we are exactly people in the beginning will laugh at you, then they will be doubting you, and then suddenly say, "Oh, maybe it's possible," and then they will say, "Wow, you are a genius." This is how it goes. I remember
You are
days
right. They
when
said that
Elon Musk
about
was
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They
I
said that
remember days
about
when Elon Musk
Elon.
was bad, right? I remember he was treated as a scammer and just have access to money. And then when they saw SpaceX working, Tesla working, okay, this time in Twitter he will fail. Oh my God, he proved again he's good. What's wrong with you people? It's time we start like sharing people of change instead of fighting them.
I agree wholeheartedly with you, Sam, on this one. But as a change agent myself in large corporations, people are scared of change. They want predictability. What we're seeing now is unpredictability. We don't know what the future is going to look like, except it's going to be great. And I agree with you there. Innovation, creativity is just going to be unleashed like we've never seen before.
Let me tell you something here. I think I started by that and I will reiterate it. Fear is the mind killer. And
Yeah.
we know, and listen, why I said I love science fiction? Because it's written by people who didn't, like you and me, needed to give report to boards or
Yes,
managers,
that's
right?
right.
So they went wild with their thinking and they imagined the future in a glorious way. And by the way, we know how the future would look like. We know because we are human, we have a common imagination. We wanted a solar system civilization. We want maybe a galactical civilization. That's we all dreaming of.
Yeah.
Sometimes the force, let's call it, of regression or fear come over. It was, yeah, this is the dream. We will run out of resources on Earth one day, and there is two solution. Either we go until let's reduce the number of population, let's go extinct. That's a solution. That's a stupid solution. And there is Elon Musk solution when he says it all the time. Let's go out of Earth. It harnessed resources all over around us. He used to tell people, hey, you want nuclear power reactor? It's the sun. Very big reactor, right? Let's harness more and more. You want more metals, more gases? Listen, some people call it noble gases, rare gases. Jupiter is full of these gases. So if we are really the next level in civilization, and I am wishing to be, and I love this idea of going forward, not always stagnating
Stagnating, yeah.
or regressing, that doesn't mean we don't want to solve the problems. But I think technology will solve the problems, not avoiding technology. Global warming is happening. The solution is not just, okay, let's reduce a little bit of gases and that have a wishful thinking, it will be better. No, it will not. It's happening. So we need to be able to reverse it with technology if we need to. I'm not here to talk about a particular problem, but also I was telling people the other day, imagine we have a technology to extend life, to eradicate all
Disease.
diseases.
Yeah.
And now the real challenge we have is our dinosaur methods that we need to update. Like, for example, I saw people talking about taxation. Let me tell you something I said in my book about taxation. It's going to be destroyed. This model is done. It's based on taxing people who are working. What if the robots are working and humans are not working anymore?
Yeah, what happens?
Who you will tax?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I know I can decrease my taxes if I stop working. Yeah.
So there are solutions. I heard some solution. Let's tax the technological company. I have better for you. Let's let the robot work, contribute to society, and find another model of contribution to the society other than taxes. That comes honestly from an old king who wanted to fund his army by using the poor people. That was the origin of taxes.
That was the
It was not
original
a smart
taxes,
thing.
yeah. And I do believe we fought a revolutionary war over taxes too.
So I call it IRS 2.0 in my book. And IRS 2.0 will not collect money. It will collect data and tell us how much money we need to generate using tools like quantitative easing. So we'll not have inflation and we run society without collecting agent, without people that make us miserable or make others miserable. There are a lot of ways. We are in the era of AI. We are accelerating towards that singularity. And I want it to be the singularity of hope, not the dark singularity.
Not the
When
dark
we have-
singularity. I really like this, Sam. This has been very insightful today, and it's got me energy. I'm excited. You excite me. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. So, Sam, thanks for coming on the show. If people want to get your book, it's on Amazon. Singularity
yes,
of
it's on
Hope.
Amazon, Singularity of Hope. They can visit also my YouTube channel, Theosim. I always talk about this kind of topics, even if I know I'm not the only one, but I know a lot of people also who are trying to ask the right questions and try to have answers for this future of humanity.
Well, I think it's great. You guys could talk all the philosophy. I'm going to go build all this stuff now. I'm just
Let's
telling
go.
you. All
Let's
right.
go.
Thanks a lot, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Embracing Digital Transformation today. If you enjoyed our podcast, give it 5 stars on your favorite podcasting site or YouTube channel. You can find out more information about Embracing Digital Transformation at embracingdigital.org. Until next time, go out and embrace the digital revolution.